I restart this thing 15 times. I don't know how to just say hello. I don't know how to start this off. I'm like, in the music, it's just like, it's just me. But we ain't here, y'all. We back. Episode 2. And as you can tell by the title, we about to get into something. We about to talk about something. And what really drew me to this particular topic was the fact that I recently had like a review at my job. They kind of triggered me a little bit because I tend to have this feeling of like hitting a ceiling. You know how you feel like you hit a ceiling, you learned all you could learn, you did all you did, or did all you could do. You've learned what you could learn. And it was like in that meeting or whatever, when it was time to set the goals for the next year, me and the person in the meeting were drawing a blank. Like, a girl, what is next? Like, girl, you didn't learn all the stuff on the thing. All the goals we gave you, you done did that. What we gonna do next? And so it kind of made me want to talk about this topic of finding your purpose and how to find your purpose, because I feel like in our society in general, a lot of people's focus is making money, because money is what runs this particular society. And the thing about that is that people end up doing things that they don't care about, they're not passionate about, they don't even enjoy, because they just trying to make some money. And it's like, for me, I had to get to a space of like, I got tired of like chasing money, because that's the first problem. If you're chasing money, you need to watch this video. Stop. If you're chasing money, that means running from you. You don't want the money to run from you. You want to attract. You want the money to flow to you. And it's like, how do we get there? What do we do? Nobody gives you a blueprint. When you're in high school, nobody tells you follow. Like, they'll tell you when you're a kid, follow your dreams. But it's like once you get older and it gets time like closer to college, the closer you get to college, the less people tell you to follow your dream, and the more people try to tell you like, oh, you should do this, or you should find something. Especially if you're an artist or a creative like me, people are going to tell you to find something sustainable, something real to them, of like a way to make money and finance yourself. And I wish that what I'm about to share with y'all were things that like I wish I knew. I wish somebody said it to me. I wish somebody told me. I wish I would have read it on a Post-it note, child, something. An owl flew by and dropped the letter. I don't know. Something. Tell me something. But so, finding your purpose. The first thing, there are 3 things you need to do. 3 questions you need to ask yourself. 1, how do you want to feel? One of the most important things about finding your purpose is knowing how you want to wake up and feel every single day. Most people wake up with like I gotta go to work. Oh, I gotta go do this. Oof, Lord, time for this. There's a lot of people, and some people are blessed enough to, you know what I'm saying, already be in there. Shout out to y'all on the way, shouty. But for those of us who still be working, like, it's that like, oh, I gotta go do this thing that like I don't really care about, I'm not really passionate about, but I gotta make some money, get some old, and people need bills. And if I don't make any money, what am I gonna do? So the first step is to figure out how you want to feel every day. For me, it's like I wanted to wake up in a state of peace. I wanted to wake up and be excited. I wanted to wake up and just be like, what do I want to do today? What do I feel like doing today? Or it's like, what time do I feel like working today? Like a sense of freedom is what I want to feel. You know what I'm saying? Because in this world, how free can you really? Second question you want to ask yourself is, what am I naturally drawn to? When you think about like when you're a kid, right? When you're a kid, a lot of us, that's like your most innocent, purest stage. It's when you're your realest. Before people start to impose all of their thoughts, feelings, and expectations, and society starts to tell you who or what you should be doing. Think back to prior to that. What were you naturally drawn to? What was something that you always just caught your attention or excited you? You know what I'm saying? Third question, what are your gifts? There is a difference between having gifts and having skills. Skills are things that can be honed, learned, developed. Gifts are things that you are naturally given, naturally, what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? Y'all don't know. Y'all can't even tell me. But that word that y'all, whoever said it, that word, you're naturally good at. The things that you are, just like your niche. You know what I'm saying? It's whatever, something that God gave you. You just are always, so it's easy to you. It's nothing to you. It's like second nature to you. You know what I'm saying? Which can also be honed, developed further as well, just like a skill. But it's a little bit different. So, how did I find my purpose? The best way to find your purpose is to find yourself. Quarantine was the best thing. 2020 was the best thing that could have happened to me. Because prior to that, anybody that knows me knows I'm a hustler. I was gonna go low constantly. I never had just one job. I was never doing just one thing. I was out here getting. Like you wasn't gonna see me sit still, steady still. No, she's out here. She constantly. I was barely ever home. I was one of those people. I go home, shower, sleep, repeat. And it's like when I got the chance, well, not chance, when I was made to sit my ass down and slow down, it gave me the opportunity to ask myself questions. It gave me an opportunity to reflect. It gave me an opportunity to learn, to grow. You know what I'm saying? And I had to first learn myself in like a real sense, learn who I was in that moment and learn who I had become. Because when you're constantly on go autopilot, you're not taking inventory and checking in with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're somebody like me, you check in on other people before you check in on yourself, which was also something that I had to nip in the bud. So that was, and it's like the more you learn about you, that's how you learn what your gifts are. That's how you learn what excites you. That's how you learn what lights your fire. You know what I'm saying? What's that? Fire and desire. It's like, yeah, like, and then once you kind of, well, you'll never like fully, completely just know you because we're all always evolving. Jay always says, like, he told me this once, he's like, you're in a constant state of evolution. Because I'll be saying, like, my brain be all over the place. If you know me, I'm always doing something, learning something, on to the next something, get one thing, now we on to this thing. So, to give you guys a little bit of backstory, for me, when I was a kid, like, I just always knew, like, oh, she's gonna be an actress. Like, she's gonna be in the theaters, she's gonna be on Broadway, she's gonna be performing, she's gonna be Janet Jacksoning, she's gonna be doing all of that. You couldn't have told me that I was not about to be Janet Jackson. You couldn't have told me that I was not about to be Cicely Tyson on Broadway. Okay? You couldn't have told me I was about to be Sheryl Lee Ralph. Okay? You wouldn't stop to tell me I was not gonna be a future EGOT. Okay? And then I remember when it came time, my senior year in high school, came up one time for me to graduate, I had wanted to go to New York Film Academy. And I wasn't 18 when I graduated, so I couldn't just, anything that I had to do had to be signed by an adult. And so with that was like, oh no, you're not doing that. But I knew like, oh, I want to go to school for like theater. And it was like, girl, you need to find something real to do. And so, and I think too, a lot of people had an expectation of me because of like how my academics were. I think people expected me to remain an academic when I'm a creative. Like I'm an artist. I love art. You know what I'm saying? I love theater. I play multiple instruments. Like I love music. Think those type of things. I like to paint. So it's like being somebody who was academically successful. I think a lot of people's expectation was like, oh, she's gonna be a doctor or a lawyer. don't get me wrong, I love science, but I don't want to do that. And so, went to school for biochemistry. And don't get me wrong, I loved it. I loved labs and stuff like that. I love science. But I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, I couldn't picture myself doing this for the rest of my life. Like, that doesn't excite me. It doesn't feel like something that I want to do. So then, you grow up, you go out into the world, and for our generation, having like the degrees and stuff like that stuff doesn't mean the same thing for our generation as what it meant in prior generations. For them, it was kind of like, oh, you go to college, you get a good job, you sit down, you start a family. Like millennials, child, we are on a different type of time. It's a different type of experience for us. So it's like you can go to college, you can get your degree, but bitch, you can also keep your eye on the prize and good luck. Because most of us, a lot of people I know, they don't go into things that like they actually did in school, like whatever their degree is, or like you got to get a master's degree for it to matter. And so it was kind of like a situation of like, we just go out in the world and we just trying to make money to survive. Like, you in survival mode. And I spent my 20s in survival mode. And I know I be telling y'all I'm 23, so keep the lie. Keep the lie alive. So in my 3 years in my 20s, it's been survival mode. And it's like with quarantine, it even though the world was in survival mode, it was almost like I was in my own little bubble. Because it was like I didn't have to be out in the world anymore. And it got to silence all of that. I got a chance to sit with me, which was something I never got to do. I also, at that time, was in business school at Purdue because I just be doing stuff. And for me, like I did like it, but with school, it's like all the extra stuff, like you know how they give you like all these other courses that like don't directly have to do with your degree. I don't want to do that shit. I didn't come here for that. I came here to learn about these specific things. And y'all is trying to get me to take this course and this prerequisite and this. I don't care about. But so when school stopped, with quarantine, it also it took something off of my plate to where I was like, okay, now what do we do? You know what I'm saying? And so it kind of put me in a space of like, what are you looking for? You know what I'm saying? Like I was searching for something. I was wanting to be fed. You know what I'm saying? I was wanting to be fulfilled and I wasn't getting it anywhere. Nothing was doing it. You know what I'm saying? I thought business school, like I went to business school because I know I want to own a business and I feel like you should, so you need to go to business school. That's how I felt. But I didn't feel like fulfilled by it. It wasn't lighting my fire and desire. You feel me? So with that, it was like a year, 2021 quarantine kind of wasn't quarantine no more. People was kind of back out and about, but I was still working from home at that point. Shout out to work from home. That's the best thing that ever happened to me also. And so I was still like on this journey, like my soul was like searching for something. I still didn't feel fulfilled. Like I wasn't happy. You know what I'm saying? And I know that like being happy is a feeling, but if nothing in your life is giving you any type of joy, like that's a problem. It's a red flag at the least. And so then I kind of started to like pray about it, and I I kind of got an idea of like what I wanted to do, but I didn't know the name of it. Like I knew what my goal was, my mission was, but I had no idea what to call it. And I had no idea of anybody who did it. I had no point of reference for it. It was just like It was honestly, it was God. It was just given to me. It literally, I was watching something. I don't remember what I was watching, but this lady was giving this other lady like a facial, and I was like, man, like that looks like I don't know. It like kind of drew me in. And I always, when I was 14, I had actually made a business plan to open a spa. That's always been a goal of mine to open a spa, but I never considered myself working in the spa. I just opened it. I thought I was gonna be like this famous actress, and then this was gonna be a business that I had. You know, God, we have other plans. You know what I'm saying? And so then in 2021, I started esthetician school. And first of all, life beat my ass before I got in school. My whole life fell apart literally weeks before, like the month of, but like 2 weeks before school started, it was like my whole life just completely crumbled to the flow. Real shit, y'all. Like I'm gonna be completely transparent with y'all, child. I was a tech person for Apple. Child, they said contract gone. Okay. Uber was like, girl, we putting you on, I don't remember if it was probation or suspension or something from a car accident that I had gotten years prior. And if you've ever driven for Uber, you know, like every year they do like your background check and all something. It was so random. It was so random. And it was like so crazy because it was like the next week I was supposed to be starting school, which I did obviously, but it was like everything was like fighting against me. And I was like, I'm just gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna just wing it, and whatever God got in store for me, child, that's what he got in store. And then I was going to school and I was working overnight as a third shift manager. And I was literally like burning myself out. There were days where I would go over 24 hours with no sleep. Just going to work, go home, pick my daughter up, drop her off, go to school. That's literally what it was given. And so the thing about it was like, once I was in school, it's like because I knew I had an idea of like what I wanted to do, but like not a name for it. That esthetician was like the closest thing I could find to that. And I thought that that was like gonna be the thing. And so as I was in school and we started learning all these things, it was like in the beginning they teach you like the science stuff, which I was obsessed with. But like when it came to like waxing and like lashes, brow tinting, they like, child, like I was like, and like it's honestly it was a good school. Like every machine that they have at a med spa, I learned how to use. I'm grateful for the knowledge that I learned, but while I was in school, it kind of solidified for me more what my purpose is and what I wanted to do. Because when you get to the end of when you get to your state board class, you have to like write your mission and set up your business thing, your resume, and all this stuff like that. And so it's like I knew I wanted to help heal people, but like when you're a lot of what you learn is more product based of like and like more technique based of like doing the facials and stuff like that. But for me, I'm like, okay, cool, like do the facials or whatever, but like I want to heal. Like I want to teach people how to heal themselves. And it's like the first thing you learn is that what's going on your face is an indication of what's going on in your body. And so I'm like, what about that part? You know what I'm saying? And it's like once you get out of that course, you never talk about it again. It's like more about the products and like the types of products and like different products that can help people or you know what I mean? That type of thing. And so for me, I'm like, okay, now what do I do? Because it's like after going through this, I'm like, okay, this isn't exactly this is it. I needed this. Don't get me wrong, I needed that knowledge because I needed it to get to where I am now. But it was like I'm not at the end. Like this isn't still is it. And so then I'm like I was trying to find like different things. Like I was looking at like holistic estheticians and stuff like, but it's like no, I'm like, no, this isn't it. And it's like I'm YouTubing, I'm Googling and I couldn't find it and I couldn't figure it out. But I had this mission statement that I had written in state board that was like verbatim, this is what I want to do. And so I randomly was on YouTube and I ran across Beauty Herbs and Tea Herb. She had it was like a random video about being an herbalist. And I was like, what the heck is an herbalist? And I just clicked on it. And when she started talking, I was like, light bulb. This is it. You put this with that. Girl, this is what you've been talking about this whole goddamn time. And so then that kind of led me to where I am now, where I'm learning herbalism and I'm learning herbal medicine. And I said all that to say that one, I want people to understand that it's a journey and it's a marathon, not a sprint. You better pray it's a marathon because if it's a sprint, that means you ain't been here that long. And you're gonna be going real fast. And we don't want that. I don't wish that on nothing though. I pray we all live long, healthy, loving, happy lives. But I also say that, and I wanted to share this because I wanted to also say of like when you know, don't let the outside world tell you who you are. When you know what you're doing, when you know what you want to, where you want to go, when you know what your dream where you go, don't let the world and society tell you what you should be wanting, what you should be doing, where you should be going. Because at the end of the day, for one, nobody knows you nobody should know you better than you. And two, when God wants to send messages to you and he's sending them to you, they can't understand that. People just aren't gonna understand that. Which is okay, because it's not really for them to understand, but you have to not look for that validation of like, oh, is this a good idea? Oh, is this a good, because if they don't understand it, they're gonna tell you no. You know what I'm saying? I could have been on this path sooner, which God's time, so I'm here when I'm supposed to be here. But had I been more, what's the word? Had I been more attentive to myself and had I made myself more of a priority in my life, I probably could have came to these decisions and conclusions a whole lot sooner. The main thing is to block out the noise, block out the naysayers, block out anything that isn't God. Because at the end of the day, that was where I had to go to get here, to figure it out, to find my purpose. You know what I'm saying? This is my personal belief that everybody has like a mission and a purpose on their life. And it may not be, you might be somebody who like you might have like a job, but then outside of your job, you do X, Y, Z, and that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you were put here for. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if you live in that, if you focus in that, abundance follows because you're not chasing anymore. You know what I'm saying? When you stop chasing, you start allowing things to flow, money will flow. The abundance will flow, the peace will flow, the happiness will flow. You know what I'm saying? And so this is getting too long, but I just want to share a little piece with y'all. I just wanted to let my journey and my experiences be not only a lesson to me, but to somebody else, because I feel like if I can help at least one person, it'll at least be worth going through. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody hear it and they be like, damn, I wish I never thought about that. Damn, I'm glad she said that. Damn, that helped me. That's all I be wanting. That's really all I be wanting. And it really makes what you go through worth it when like you can be like I'm losing my word. You can be a vessel for somebody else. Like I'm a vessel. You can be like a light. You can be like a light or like a guide for somebody else. That ain't the word I was looking for. It's a word, but whoever just said the word, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. You can be that for somebody else. But yeah, y'all, I'm starting to ramble now. That means it's time to go. That means that the message has been messaged, the words have been worded. I pray that this reach y'all, touch y'all, somebody learn something from this, somebody take something from this. And go excel, go be great, go get your money, and when you get rich, send me $5. It's like, nah. But yeah, y'all, so this episode 2, we got this John. We gonna see y'all at 3. We gonna switch it up. I want to do something a little more fun. Like, I want to keep doing this, but I also want to sprinkle a little fun in there because y'all know I'm silly, I'm goofy. We gotta talk about some other stuff too. But until next time, yeah, it's time to go.